When I'm not on tour, I don't really feel like me. But like that first day on the road or that first show that we play, the moment I step on stage, my wife tells me all the time, she's like, I see it in you. The switch flips and you just become somebody else.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Austin from Limbs. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. I said off air right before we started, I was so excited to talk to you. I've followed your band for quite a while, and this has been one of my lists that I scratch off repeatedly, scratch this list down every day. And who have I yet to interview that I would really like to talk to, a band I'm really interested in that's putting out killer music? And you're on that list, and I get to cross one off after this, so I'm really pleased.
Right on, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Today has been a great day. I got to sleep in. I've had a lot of coffee. The weather is nice down here in the panhandle of Florida where I'm at. And
Mm.
yeah, ready to go.
Word. I also am pounding the coffee because it's just never enough of those magical
True.
beans that you need to liquefy and put into your body. It's just never enough. Coma Year is the new EP. Kind of feels like a record though, but it's the new EP coming out soon on UNFD or Unified, whichever you prefer, whichever they prefer.
Oh,
I never know. I've asked everybody. Nobody knows. And I should probably ask the label. They'll know. Say our name correct's Unified. Say our name correctly, everybody. But yeah, man, killer stuff. I've been jamming this thing out, and you guys have a big tour plan. But of course, I think for our viewers and listeners who don't know, let's get a little comic book origin story. Page number one. How did Limbs form? How did you get started in music?
just to kind of backlog everything in a reasonable amount of time, I suppose. They started as a band in late 2013. This was long before I joined, but started as a band in 2013 from the Tampa Bay area. Kind of ran through the scene, did the DIY thing for a while, really made a name for themselves, and then fast forward to 2018, I got asked to join the band by the former vocalist Chris, a good friend of mine. He is a full-time dad, also runs a business full-time. He had come to me one day and asked me to fill in on a tour for winter of 2018, which was surprising to me because Jordan and I and a couple other guys in the band have been friends for years, so I knew everybody already. So it seemed kind of like a natural progression to get in with them. But yeah, he asked me to fill in and I agreed to it. And about 10 seconds after I agreed to filling in for that tour coming up, he goes, "Cool. So how would you feel about taking over full time?" And I kind of just looked at him like, "What?" Because up until this point, I hadn't played heavy music. I'd been in a bunch of indie bands and stuff like that. I hadn't played heavy music in quite some time, so wasn't even sure if I could still do that. But yeah, we agreed to that. I went out on tour with the guys in late 2018 with Currents and Sentinels. It's a quick little 2.5 week run, which was a great time. It was a really good way to kind of get my feet wet, playing shows again. Went really well, and yeah, fast forward 3 years and some change later, I'm the guy at the front of the helm, and yeah, we're making jams.
Killer, and you've had a couple of cool EPs in a row, including this new one. I know this is kind of a singles and streaming kind of world, and we're just living in it. But I do find it's a pretty cool approach. Obviously, you could not know, speaking of coma years, that we were going to have a coma year in reality. But the previous EP was really strong, and now this is like a whole level up. And I know that it's very cliche to say this is my favorite record or this is our best release or whatever. But
Yeah,
this EP is super strong. I love every
thank you.
song, and it's just it hits all the right notes, all in the feels, and then it's like also uplifting at the same time. So I don't know how you did that, but nice job.
Yeah, man, it was. I really, honestly, I'm not sure how we did it either. I mean, we had a killer team behind us. Chris Wiseman from Currents is who we went to record with, who's become just a great friend of ours, and he did all the engineering on it. We had some production work from our friend Matt Johnson down in South Florida, who we've worked with in the past. And then, once everything was, on paper, so to speak, we sent it all over to Caleb from Beartooth, and he put the final touches on it. Put his special blend of seasoning on there, and yeah, came out wonderful. Like you said, I really don't know how we pulled it off, especially being all in different parts of the country as well. But that's technology these days. That's how you get shit done, I guess, in the modern world. But I couldn't be happier about it, man. I'm really thankful that we got to all come together cohesively and write this together, as opposed to like in past versions of the band where one person may have been like writing everything and everybody kind of just filled in, so to speak. But yeah, it was a great experience all the way around.
Right on. And obviously, technology, it's a gift when it works, and
Yeah.
these are the weirdest times ever, but it's cool that you can have a band with everybody spread out. Does that change the writing for you based on your past work in other groups, where I'm sure you'd rather all be in the same room if it were possible? And obviously for like a tour you have to rehearse, right? I don't know if you guys just come out of the bedroom and just hit a stage. I don't know if that's possible for you guys. Some bands can. How do you guys work that out?
Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, thankfully with technology, what it is these days, in terms of writing, like I said, on this last release, we were able to spend, a handful of sessions with Chris at his studio, kind of putting the pieces together, hashing things out together in a room, which was sick. But in the past, we've definitely been, guilty of, okay, well, Tyler's got this one part, Jordan's got this one part. Let's send them to those guys. And then whoever wants to program the drums, we'll figure out the drums. And then it's been, every which way in every direction under the sun by the time it gets to me to like write lyrics. Because I definitely, throw my input out there as far as structure and everything goes, but I kind of leave most of that up to, our rhythm section and the rest of the guys. And once there's kind of the bones of a song there, I'll kind of dive deep into it and add my own touch to it, and hash out the lyrics, hash out the vocal structures and melodies. But yeah, as far as rehearsals go, no, we don't thankfully don't have to just roll out of our rooms and go on stage. We meet up in the New England area where our rehearsal spot's at our bass player's house, and we'll be doing this in a couple of weeks, going up there before our next tour with Greyhaven and the Callous Cowboys. We'll go up there and spend some time rehearsing, and then you know kick the dust off and go at it. So yeah,
Nice. I used to call New England home, so it's a good place to reset your mind and focus up.
I do like it. If I was gonna live anywhere else besides Florida, it'd probably be in the Connecticut area or maybe somewhere along the coast, like Rhode Island maybe. But yeah,
Mm.
it's a whole nother world up there, and I love it.
Shout out to all my Rhode Island peeps. Fuck those winters though.
Oh, dude,
No
right?
thanks. That's why I moved to California. I was like, nope, nope, no more
Yeah,
snow.
you live somewhere that skips all the shitty ones, all the shitty seasons.
That
Yeah.
excuse me. I made myself choke from laughter. Anywho, yeah. Seasons, they don't exist everywhere. We have like two in California, so I'm gonna sip this coffee.
Yeah, same with Florida. I mean, we've got like mild summer and then like Satan's ass summer, and then but you're wearing like shorts at Christmas time, so like you can't be too mad about it.
Can't be too
Yeah,
mad about it. Let's talk for
yeah,
a
man.
second about lyrics, man, because this is something I think, very important to you, clearly, and really powerful on this EP. There's no denying or shying away from it. A lot of this stuff puts, mental health issues and self esteem issues and past traumas front and center. I don't know, if there's just some changes going on in your life, or the pandemic, the Coma year forced you to, like a lot of people, like, think about my life. I thought about my life and I was like, where do I see
For
myself in
sure.
10 years? Not in New York, unfortunately, and I love to my New York people, but it's always going to be home. But yeah, everybody's
Yeah,
kind of reevaluating themselves this last couple of years, maybe on a level we never did before.
yeah, very much so. I think, like you mentioned, that lyrically, it was really important for me to kind of put everything on the table, so to speak, to kind of just purge all of that negativity and that uncertainty from myself to find a way of healing with it. And the title of the EP and the single that we put out, Coma Year, not only refers to like the struggles and everything that we all faced during the pandemic, but specifically at a personal level refers to the year after my dad passed away. He passed away in 2015. So for that, whole year following losing him, I just felt like I was in a coma. I felt completely void to the world around me and didn't know how to cope. When the pandemic hit at the beginning of 2020, a lot of those old feelings came back. A lot of that uncertainty, my imposter syndrome was just off the charts. Honestly, never knowing if I was going to be able to be a musician again or play shows again or, anything like that that I was able to use to express myself. I didn't have that for so long. And, a lot of the subject matter on this record does touch to not only that, but as well as, the memory of my father, understanding where I was in that moment in those dark days and then where I'm at now. So like I said, I wanted to put it all out on Front Street, in hopes that people would receive that in, the way I wanted them to, and kind of latch on to those similar things that they felt over the last 2 years. They may have not lost a parent or a loved one or anything like that, but they could relate because of, how 2020 and most of 2021 and parts of 2022 even have treated all of us. Yeah.
We have all been going through a global collective psychotic break, and it's not fun. For a lot of people, they're not having a good time. I know when we thought it was going to be a couple of weeks, people were kicking their heels up and partying, and then
Mm-hmm.
reality set in. So, first of all, thank you for sharing that answer,
Yeah,
but
of
also
course.
thank you for sharing these words with us. And I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm glad that you're finding your way through somehow now. And imposter syndrome is something we all deal with and don't talk a lot about. Let me tell you.
Dude. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's plenty because I do boat work. I work on the water when I'm not on tour doing anything with the band. So I always have this weird duality of like, okay, who am I really? Like, am I a musician or am I just a boat guy? Like, so I struggle with that constantly. And like you said, so many of us go through that too, and it's not talked about enough because, like I said, when I'm not on tour, I don't really feel like me. But like that first day on the road or that first show that we play, the moment I step on stage, my wife tells me all the time, she's like, I see it in you. The switch flips and you just become somebody else. So I'm myself for 30 minutes a night on the road. And when I'm home, I'm just confused.
Nice. I imagine.
Yeah.
So you said the Panhandle. So I imagine you're talking about the Gulf and stuff like that.
Panama City Beach.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Maybe we're gonna bring back like an Every Time I Die, a Sailor Hat Boy core, and at least fashion wise. And
Right.
I have to imagine like Keith is a guy for you or that band. That genre of band's got to be like very important to this band and maybe particularly you.
Yeah, I can't speak for everyone else, but I mean Keith Buckley growing up was a huge influence vocally for me. Just like him being one of the first people aside from Chester Bennington, who's probably favorite vocalist of all time. Duh. Hearing the way that he was able to control that ferocity in his voice and how it wasn't just all frantic and just unintelligible the entire time. Like he had that, I don't know. He's just got the sauce, man. People call it having the sauce. That and he was one of those people that I was drawn to vocally growing up. Him and Chester, and also Dustin from Thrice was a huge influence growing up. And Anthony Rainieri from Bayside. I don't know if you're a Bayside fan at all, but
Mm.
yeah, I think that's where a lot of my influence with clean vocals comes from because he always had that grit. Um, Tyler, our guitar player, when we track vocals, he calls it like turning on the V8 engine, the V8 on the voice. So yeah, those guys for vocal influence growing up were huge for sure, especially Keith. Yeah.
Yeah, nice work. I am particularly excited about the new project Keith is working on with Sergio Vega, formerly of Deftones. We just talked to Sergio all about that, so very exciting stuff.
I
And
have not heard.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if it's a track or more than that, but they are working. They have
What a
worked or
song.
are working together on something, so that's crazy, and
Hell yeah.
very
Okay.
exciting. And of course, we all miss Chester. It's still raw. And I would say, in terms of what I'm hearing when I listen to you, what I like is when you go from clean to hard, like clean to gritty. You get that really nice vocal fry that also helps like punctuate through on things like choruses and very heavy endings and stuff. Very big big
Yeah.
feeling endings when you get that fry. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, nice work. Yeah, man. So obviously this EP is coming out, and then again, like I said, it's kind of a singles and EPs world right now. But are you guys just kind of working your way to a full release at some point in the future, or it's just going to be as it comes, a piece at a time?
That's such a hard one to answer. I mean, we've definitely thrown the idea back and forth at like what's better these days because, like you said, the attention span of the market for the most part is just like, okay, you see a lot of pop artists do it. There's not really full records that are coming out at all. It's just single, 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 which is cool. And we really enjoy doing that because, we love to put out videos for every song that we release if we can. So that's a cool way to go about that. But the, as a nostalgic fan of music, like there's something about having like a full album, to be able to sit down with and maybe put on repeat if it becomes somebody's favorite. But there's something about that has a lure about it. But I mean, for now, with this EP coming out, like you said, it feels like an album. I mean, it's 7 songs, so it's like almost there. So it's almost album length. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. We'll see if we go back to doing a full record cycle, or if we do, just single after singles or collabs or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Right on, right on. And of course, like we said, we're looking very much forward to this tour with Greyhaven and anything else you guys are doing in the future. As we wind this down, I want to give you back your day. But of course, today is May the 4th. As we record this, it's probably going to run closer to the release of the album. But of course, May the 4th be with you. I have to ask, as I usually end these with a wild card question, are you a fan of Star Wars? And if so, is there a Star Wars character you relate the most to?
You're gonna crucify me for this one because I get it all from my bandmates as well. But I don't dislike Star Wars. I like the movies. I enjoy the original three. I'm just not deep in it. I don't know too much about like the storyline altogether. I mean, I know the basics obviously, but it's never something that I dove deeply into. And don't worry, I'm not a Star Trek fan either, so I don't lean on one side or the
Yeah, no
other.
worries. There's no judgment here. I just had
Appreciate
the
it.
opportunity to ask some nerd shit today because it is May the
Fine.
4th and no harm or
Got,
foul.
got,
It's kind of like AA. We'll take you whenever you come in. And just like heavy metal, we'll take you in all conditions at any time and come in
yeah,
and have a seat and a cup of coffee and we'll talk to you. And, original three, can't go wrong. Cultural
yeah, absolutely.
touchstone, and yeah, I don't expect everybody to be, a hopeless geek like I am. So don't worry about it. And I also love Star Trek, weirdly. Yeah,
Yeah,
they say you're not supposed to like both. I'm that weird one person that liked both and like other random Battlestar Galactica, Firefly, Serenity, weird. So that's like my wheelhouse,
yeah,
metal and nerd stuff. So anyway, unfortunately, I was never cut out to be a big jock. Just had bands
yeah.
and nerd stuff. So that's all I can do.
Well, I feel you on the nerd stuff. I mean, I kind of went the other route. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fanatic,
All
so
right.
Dragon Ball Z, GT, even the non-canon stuff, all the movies that are out now, super. And then, as you can see, part of my collection behind me, I have a big problem with Pokemon cards.
You could say a big
Um,
problem or a good problem to have.
yeah, we just moved into a new place, so I've just got like some of my sealed stuff and like some of my favorite cards up right there. But yeah, big problem. But it's only a problem if I don't got
Nice. Austin McAuley, man of
it. Yeah.
limbs. It's been so nice talking to you. Again, followed the band for a long time. Everybody check out Coma Year. We'll link everything in the description. Coming out on the Unified label soon. Again, man, be safe out there on the road. We will catch you on tour, and just all the best to you and the guys.
Thank you so much, Keith. Thanks again for having me, and have a great day, man.